2022, that was fun. Hey, is 2023 going to be any better? Well, I'll let you know my predictions. Stay tuned. So actually, like 2022, people say was terrible and stuff, but it was very good for me. But with my mindset, I'm an extreme contrarian, so I do the opposite of the herd mentality kind of thing. So 2022 was actually quite well for me. Precious metals investments, commodities, they're all up. Silver's up on the year. Silver's actually up since September 1st. It is up 30% already at the end of December here, and much higher to go. So that should be interesting. We'll see how high it goes. My predictions for silver and gold are higher. I don't think they'll go to maybe super high this year. They will eventually, but maybe silver, it'll break $30 US into 2023 or something. Gold will probably surpass its all-time highs. But anyways, yeah, I'm super contrarian, so 2022 was just perfectly fine for me. So when everybody was making money and all the bubbles like Tesla stock and things in 2020, 2021 maybe, I was also doing fine. But again, I don't follow the herd mentality. But we will see what happens in 2023. So, real estate. The U.S. home sales had their biggest decline ever in the U.S. Canada is about the same. Now, this is because of the slight increase in interest rates. And it's funny because interest rates are still negative with the consumer price inflation number minus the interest rates. We have negative interest rates. But what's funny is we're getting up close to 5% in the first little bit of 2023. We'll probably be at 5% Fed rate. And slightly over 5% means the entire budget of the entire United States will just go to pay the interest on the U.S. debt. So any government penny that they spend, any politician, any handout, any welfare, any health care, any wherever else that they waste money is going to be printed money. So at 5% interest rates, again, all of the money that the U.S. brings in goes to pay the interest payment only on your debt. And Canada and other countries aren't much better, right? It's kind of all the same shit. But, so they're kind of bluffing. They're going to kind of hold their... now, my prediction for inflation, or the consumer price index, is that the CPI is going to come down, and everybody's going to cheer, and the Fed and Biden and everybody and Trudeau's like, yeah, see, we're beating inflation. Well, you already had record high prices. Prices aren't going to come down. The prices of a lot of things are going to just go up slightly less, I guess. So food prices, though, are going to go up. There, I just saw the prediction for 2023, 5 to 7%. And all of the necessities that you need in the world, like, well, your property tax goes up, your food goes up, your electric bill goes up, your water bill goes up, your natural gas bill and heating bill goes up. Fuel at the pump will go up. And all of your kind of basic necessities go up. But your flat screen television, PlayStations, trinkets and doodads and hot tubs and exercise bikes and non-necessity items are going to come down in price. So that's going to be the consumer price inflation decrease, not decrease, smaller increase. So, fun. And a lot of asset price is going to come down. So, like, inflation's a funny thing. Inflation goes into the real estate market, right? That's where credit is created. The most credit is created. But you have to understand the difference between inflation and a bubble. So real estate in Canada, especially, is in a super hyper bubble. Real estate never goes down, right? Now, inflation is factored into real estate, but not to the extreme bubble land territory. So real estate coming down isn't like deflation, that's bubble popping. A good example of this is lumber prices. So in the heart of the government's pandemic there, where they affected supply chains and did a bunch of bad central planning. All their central planning is bad. But lumber prices skyrocketed. It was ridiculous. So to give you a personal example, I bought some sheets of 1/2-inch or 7/16 OSB sheeting for $11 a sheet. When was that? Beginning of 2021. 4 months later, I sold some of it for $50 a sheet because it was $75 a sheet plus both taxes in my lumber yards. And now I was just at Home Depot yesterday, and it is $16.50 a sheet. So it went from 11 to 75 to 16. So one of the worst performing sectors of 2022 was lumber. In 2021, it was the highest performing sector, but it was a bubble. It's not inflation. So inflation it was 11, and now it's 16, and it might even go to 14 or 13. So inflation is a factor of whatever, 20% a year, not 20,000% or whatever it is, right? But the bubble comes down. So the same thing's going to happen with real estate. So we have interest rates are currently negative, right? The real interest rates. So inflation or consumer price index is higher than the Fed rate, meaning we have negative real interest rates, and we're still at historically low interest rates, but it's enough to pop all these bubbles. So tech stocks, real estate, all these bubbles are popping. So Tesla stock is finally coming down. So that was, I watched this thing and he's talking about, I invested in Tesla. I like electric cars. I think I want to help the environment. Elon Musk is cool. Well, Tesla did like a 20x, and it is so incredibly overvalued, but it's coming down, and it's come down a fair ways, but it's going to come down a lot more yet, right? But that's not deflation, that's bubbles popping, right? Which is good. Well, it's inevitable, right? If it comes up, it has to come down. So, if real estate's been in a bubble for, let's say, just 2 decades in Canada, there's no reason why it can't be in a deflating bubble for 2 decades as well, or just come down super fast. But for real estate, in the States, so new mortgages in 2022, there's 270,000 new mortgages that are underwater, meaning whatever equity they put down is non-existent because real estate's gone down that much. But in 2022, you've seen prices drop maybe a little bit in real estate. You saw the worst reduction in home sales, but that didn't tell you anything with prices yet, because there is lag time. And with the herd mentality that people have. It's like, well, geez, are we going to be able to afford these slightly higher interest rates, payments and stuff? And, you know, maybe we should think about downsizing or something. Well, the herd mentality, everybody, or almost everybody, I'm not, is in the same boat. So everybody's like, well, we can't afford this really expensive house, so maybe we should sell it. Let's talk to our agent and we'll list it. And the agent's like, well, you paid $1 million for it. You're like, maybe let's list it for $980 or $950. And everybody's doing the same thing at the same damn time. It's going to be lag time of like 6 to 18 months of your house sitting for sale, hardly having a showing, no buyers for it, and then reality sinks in at a later date for everybody in the herd, right? It's all hive mind. Everybody puts themselves in the same hive boat, right? Well, central planners actually put people in that, and you have to be a crazy contrarian type person to not be affected by that, but fun. So a lot of people are going to be underwater. The housing crash will be worse than the 2008 great financial crisis. They're going to have to come up with new names for how bad this is going to get. But so asset prices, or your traditional normie asset prices, the ones that were heavily manipulated by central planners, are going to come down. At the same time, everything you need, including every cost to maintain a house, give utilities to the house, are going to go up. So rent might come down eventually, but rent is probably actually going to go up. So you're going to have house prices come way down, and but the payments are up because of the ever so slightly higher interest rates, which are still ridiculously low. It's crazy. So it's just like, you know, I've asked over the years many times, oh, that's a beautiful truck. What is one of those worth? And somebody will tell me, well, it's this much bi-weekly. I'm like, well, no, what is the truck worth? What do you mean? Like, they have no idea. And it's kind of the same with housing. It actually doesn't matter what the price of the house is, because nobody has the cash to buy or build a house. Everyone has a mortgage. So it's just like a truck payment. What are your payments? So if it's a $1 million house at 1% interest rates, is, you know, the same thing as that $1 million house going to $250,000 at 6% interest rates or something like that. I don't know the exact math, but it doesn't matter. It's what are your payments, right? You don't own your home. If you have a mortgage on it and pay property tax on it, you might as well almost be renting. People only buy houses to feel like they have an ownership, and because everybody says, oh, real estate only goes up, so it's a good investment. And it was for the last few decades. Like, look, everybody, how smart I am. What I did is I bought this house and then wrecked it a little bit, didn't do anything to it, and then I sold it for a higher price, right? Was there any extra value created? Did you do anything to the house? Did you make the world better? No, you're part of a bubble. So, but everybody's so smart while you watch. So, but the interest rates are going to increase and then hold. So the increased rates are going to slow down, like the rates of increase, and then they're going to try to hold it and see that CPI is going to come down, and it is, and we might even have positive real interest rates. CPI might go to 4% temporarily with a 5% Fed rate, and they'll say, see, we did it, guys. And because that's unsustainable, because we have too much debt and the governments can't handle that high of a interest rate, which is a low interest rate actually, but then they'll start reducing it. Anyways, it's all like a house of cards going to come tumbling down, and there's no fixing it, right? It's kind of default on the debt or super high inflation are your two choices. for businesses, you're going to see a lot of bankruptcies. So I don't care what you're selling, if it's hot tubs or food, like a lot of little food products, food brands, there's smaller, probably better ingredients and stuff, but it would be a higher price than a big corporation can pump out like cheap sugar, soy, corn products in a plant that's already existing, already automated. So because people are going to have less money and food prices going up, you're going to see a lot of small food businesses even go out of business. So if somebody's making like special kind of fermented pickles or jars of really expensive kimchi that's actual really good food, people aren't going to be able to pay for that. But a lot of other businesses that are discretionary and luxury goods that haven't gone out of business yet are probably going to go out of business because people's discretionary spending is way down. So the credit card debt for Westerners here is record high. So savings is record low. People are losing all their money, whether they were in the crypto Ponzi scheme or real estate bubble or tech stocks, all the normies, the herd mentality, all the stuff that they're in is coming down. So it's a reverse wealth effect. So they're going to have less money as well, but at the same time you have inflation on the necessities. So that's going to reduce discretionary spending big time. And they're not going to be able to have credit because they already used up all their credit with their credit card debts are record high as well. So yeah, a lot of businesses are going to go down. Now, I don't think we're quite here yet, but in a democracy, people are going to complain about all this stuff to the government, of course. So government, do something, right? Government's the source of all the problems, but they don't know that, and they'll say, government, do something. So maybe food price controls, there'll be talks of that. I hear the odd rumor here and there or a thing on food pricing controls. So that's going to be terrible. That leads to starvation every time. But people will complain, oh, government, the cost of food is high. Or in California, government, the cost of gasoline is high. So the government gave out welfare stimmy checks in California to help people afford gasoline that the government created high prices for and creates more inflation. So central bank digital currencies, so there is war on cash, right? I suggest use cash as much as possible and do transactions with cash, and it makes whoever you give the cash to also have to deal with the cash, and it keeps cash alive. So if you go to a, restaurant and you pay in cash, then the owner of that restaurant has cash and the waitress has cash. And with that cash, they go buy themselves a coffee or whatever other stuff that they got to spend, and then the cash circulates. Keep that alive as long as you can, but there will be more towards that central bank digital currency, which is essentially what we have right now, just with more fascist tracking and no cash. But most people don't use cash anyways. But that's coming. I don't know if it's going to roll out this year, like 2023 or not, but you can expect that coming pretty soon. Gun control, there's not really much more they can do. So they restricted all the handguns. You can't buy, sell, trade, do anything with a handgun in Canada. You can't pass it down to your kids. So that's the guns the government knows about. And then in Canada, the guns that the government doesn't know about are called the non-restricted. So the government doesn't know what anybody has, and they are saying that they're banning all these things. They'll go through with that, but there's nothing they can do because they don't know what people have. So lots of people will, voluntarily, because everything's voluntary, turn in their non-restricted firearms to the government, but most people will not because the government doesn't know what they have. So there's almost nothing other than them sending out the policy enforcers to come take the restricted firearms like the handguns door to door and actually take them away instead of just letting people have them until they die and then they have to be returned to the government. But yeah, so in Canada, non-restricted. So if you bought a shotgun 5 years ago and then sold that shotgun to a guy named Bob and checked Bob's pal that, yeah, Bob has a valid pal, so thanks, Bob, for the cash. Here's your shotgun. And then you take that cash and you go buy another rifle, and then you use that rifle for a year and sell it to Fred, and then buy another shotgun or something. And who knows? I don't even know what I have anymore. But anyways, have fun with that. Most people are just going to, well, I sold that years ago, right? So, but they'll keep trying gun control because, you know, you have to take the guns away if you want to do the next thing. Now, the other bill in Canada is Bill C-36, I think, and that's actually mandatory vaccinations and declaring everyone that's non-vaccinated mentally ill or something to these stupid lines, whatever. But that probably passed because, you know, people in government are idiots. But we'll see. Maybe we haven't got a lockdown. It's already going to be January 2023 yet. So maybe COVID is switching to climate change, something like that. I don't know. Kind of hard to say. With climate change, everybody, that blizzard moved really far south into the U.S. and lots of snow and wind and pretty bad blizzard. So they might use that to start the climate change. Maybe climate change lockdowns. Who knows? But anyways, I don't see anything getting better. It's like a Ponzi scheme. It has to get worse, right? They have to do more stupid things. They can't do less stupid things. So when things do get bad, though, they do take you to war. That's kind of a thing in history. So I actually don't follow Russia versus NATO with the Ukraine as the no man land in between very closely, but it's kind of two stubborn sides there and not giving in. They probably won't. Hopefully there's somebody smart enough in there that prevents any nuclear weapons from going off. Somebody with some common sense. But I don't know. So I got high hopes for somebody with common sense stopping that. But at the same time, all the government, all sides are idiots. So who knows? We might have nuclear apocalypse. You never know. I'm not banking any chips on that happening or worried about that at all. I'm just worried about doing my own thing, being in the right sectors with investments. Going to build a barn, so watching lumber prices. Grab some lumber, grab some building material, and if anybody needs me, I'll be out here putzing away, building a barn, hanging out in the greenhouse, learning how to better grow food indoors, learning how to grow food better outdoors, planting lots of trees out here, homeschooling our kids, and life is pretty good. So I expect for me, in the sectors that I'm in and the way that I'm situated and the things that I'm doing, to be very beneficial. So lumber prices way down, like still up from a few years ago, but have come down out of that bubble, right? So I need to buy lumber. So perfect. Thank you very much. So, and I'll build it myself. Just take me a while to do it, but I'll putz away and don't have to pay any labor. No taxes or money changes hands when you build things yourself. So I'll do that and kind of get our meat portion of our operation a little bit better set up. So more meat, more animals, more variety, more sustainability. Pretty exciting. So creating some resilience. But yeah, 2023 looks good. So as everybody's going to continue to lose money in real estate, tech stocks, all the other dumb shit that they put their money in, cryptos, gold and silver are going to just rise nice, and all the miners and royalty companies, same thing, I expect anyways. Could be wrong, but I kind of know the narrative or the whole situation, so I get excited when things that I'm interested in investing in that are a foolproof thing come down in price, and then I buy more. So also good have a little bit of cash, even though it does lose value because of them devaluing dollars, right? But it's good to have cash times like these when lots of people are hurting, there's lots of debt. Good to have cash on hand to take advantage of some deals. So maybe you've been looking for a hot tub or something, and there's so much demand for hot tubs and the price is so high and stuff. Well, you just wait. Hot tubs, like, please take it off my hands, or the electricity's going to shut off. I need to pay my bills and stuff. And if you have cash on hand, you're king. So cash is still king in this world that we live in. So it's good to have cash, but what I like to do is have money instead, which is the most liquid thing, right? Money is the most liquid thing in the world. So gold and silver. And then gold and silver is going up while cash and everything else is going down. Then you can exchange your liquid money for a currency if that's what people want for their hot tub, I guess. But anyways, let me know if you have any other predictions, but the future is bright, not for most people, not for the herd mentality. And yeah, 2023 is going to be worse, again, for the herd, not for the contrarians and people that know economics and things like that. But it's exciting. So I guess one other thing is the BRICS nations. So more and more countries and governments are joining the BRICS alliance. I think the BRICS alliance makes up of 40% of the world's population now, and they're talking about making a currency that is gold and commodity backed. Now, I'm super excited, not for where my country, Canada, where I live, because Canada has no gold and Canada is pretty dumb. Yeah, US too. So the BRICS nations creating a gold and commodity backed currency is very, 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 very bad for the USA and Canada when they come out with this. So that's going to allow them to trade and do commerce in gold and commodities. Now, what the BRICS is going to actually figure out is they're going to switch it from gold and commodities to just gold, because it's hard to track all sorts of different commodities. And so they're going to go back to the historic thing, monetary metals, gold and silver is going to be. Now, when that happens, it's gold and silver going to be revalued when that goes. Like the U.S. is a great big bully, and they showed the world when they sanctioned Russia and confiscated Russian assets and giving Russian confiscated assets to the Ukraine and things. The U.S. is overstepping, and they're a big bully, and the rest of the world sees it. So one prediction I have is BRICS is going to continue to grow, and they're going to get closer and closer to bypassing and creating a new global standard currency that's going to take out the U.S. When that happens, it's bad news for the U.S. and Canada actually as well. USA allegedly has a lot of gold. Fort Knox hasn't been audited since the 1950s, so nobody really knows. But Canada openly sold all their all of their gold for, I forget if it was like $300 an ounce many years ago now, those idiots. But so it's exciting to have possibly a real money on the planet. Now, it's really, really bad again for the West, but the West deserves it, unfortunately, right? So it's possible BRICS starts to move forward and make some progress in 2023. And, if Canada did good things, I would speak good things about Canada. If the USA did good things, I would speak good things about the USA. If Russia, China, Brazil, Egypt now in BRICS, all these massive, India countries do good things, I'll speak out about the good things. If they do bad things, I'll speak out about the bad things. But maybe 2023 is the year. If the USA loses reserve currency, holy smokes, you're in trouble. And Canada too, I think. So that should be interesting to watch. But let me know. I'm kind of following that pretty close, but let's leave it at that. There's a lot of things I could predict on. I follow things really quite closely, actually, and I think I kind of know what I'm talking about. I listen to the best economists, the best predictors of things, and to be perfectly honest, nobody knows. The smartest people on the planet, the smartest economists don't know. The most formally educated in government school economists, they really don't know. The best we can do is kind of predict, and, timelines are usually off, but, if you get your fundamentals right and stick to them, like righteous things, like what is the difference of right and wrong? What is real money? What is, making the world a better place, investing in land, creating food for other people, whatever. If you're on the right side, it doesn't really matter what happens. We can all have a good idea, but it is what it is. So let's leave it at that. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, all the best in 2023. Things don't look particularly bright unless you get on the bright side of things. So we'll catch you next time.